Hey, this is Bond Diesel, and today I'm going to cover the Mass Effect N7 Day festivities with a pretty much 100% focus on the last minute teaser that was dropped concerning the next game. I'll start with a too long didn't watch summary and then dive into my theories and speculation about what this fairly significant info drop may mean. If you liked the video and want to watch more, please like, subscribe, click on the bell, and check out my other videos, as well as the EchoCast podcast and my live streams over on twitch.tv/BondDiesel. The too long didn't watch is that among various sales and announcements today, we got a last minute piece of art from the next Mass Effect game that pictures a desolate, maybe frozen world with a large crater in the top part of the picture, a ship at the bottom with a top-down view, 4 figures walking from the ship, and what appears to be the corpse of a dead Geth near the center. Now, if you want to stick around and see what some people on Reddit and Twitter thought about this, as well as my own thoughts and speculations, to maybe to consider or speculate when this game will take place, who may be in it, and who we may be working with or facing off against. So it's this way. Over here, there's the picture. Now, honestly, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, okay, this is some concept art. That's fine, whatever. And then we jumped down the rabbit hole. So I'm going to show you what some other people noticed. And then I'll kind of give my thoughts on that. And yeah, so let's check it out. So the first thing here, like I was saying, here at the top, there's a big crater right here. So here's the crater. I don't think there's anything that significant going on in here. Here there is what I would consider fairly significant here that is pretty obviously a Geth. It may not be, maybe it's something else, maybe it's Shep or something, but it definitely seems like a Geth. 4 figures here, which we'll talk more about in a moment, and the ship, the SFX, which is significant. Keep that in mind. And then we have Mass Effect Will Continue. I assume this is pretty clearly a working title. I don't think they're actually going to call it Mass Effect Will Continue, but yeah, let's jump into some of the Twitter posts that I thought were interesting. So here's the tweet. Here is what they showed. This is what they gave us. So we have another N7 Day surprise for you from the team working on the next Mass Effect. Thank you all for being the best fans in the world. Something to consider is that at least the rumors are that Mass Effect Next, which is what I'm going to call it for now, because getting into the 4 or 5 thing, people get too crazy about it. I'm not going to bother. It's assumed that they aren't actually actively developing the game yet, that is going to come with after Dragon Age 4 releases, which I believe is supposed to be late next year or early the following year, which is surprising. We haven't seen more about that, but that's a whole different subject. So the thing that, if you don't know much about game development, is most games, even really big games, are developed in like a 2 to 3 year like focus period where that's when all of the environmental people, all of the animators, the modelers and things like that, the UI people, they basically just crush it for like 2 or 3 years. Even some of the biggest games that you play or that you have played. But what you don't know, or that you don't hear about very often, are the years of pre-production that happen before that, where it's producers and writers and the leads of all of the different departments. So the thing to consider is that right now, all of the people who make worlds, who make weapons, who make models, who do the animations, they're all working on Dragon Age right now. There's probably very few, if any, of them working on Mass Effect Next. But there are people working on Mass Effect Next. We know this from all of the announcements about people coming back from Mass Effect 1, from the original trilogy. And just all, we know that there's probably a good number of people working on the next game, but they're doing pre-production. So they're outlining the story. They're developing, the way the game's going to play, the mechanics of the game, the maps that they're laying all of the groundwork so that when Dragon Age 4 comes out and all of these devs become available to work on the next game, they can just send out all these blueprints and say, we need this and that and this and this and this, and this is going to go here, that's going to go there. And that's what's happening right now. So it's reasonable to assume that even if they aren't going to start full production until 2023, they probably already know the basic outline of the story. They probably know all of the characters, or at least most of them. They're probably trying to line up voice actors, and they're doing all of that work. So when the game starts actually being made physically, it's all laid out. There was an interview with a couple of the devs that worked on the Legendary Edition. And recently there's a video, and it was them covering the suicide mission and watching someone play it and be horrified by it. And one thing that was interesting, one of the lead artists that was on it talked about, he said something very quickly that I suspect a lot of people didn't hear, but that it was the concept of adding something new. And you could hear him, he said something along the lines of, we're 6 months into development, this wasn't in the plan. So it kind of tells you that's what they're doing right now. So moving on from this is what they showed us. And then here's some things that people noticed that I think are worth talking about. So the first thing here, it shows the 4 individuals walking away from this ship. This looks like a pretty small ship. I'm pretty willing to guess this is supposed to be like a transport. Probably whatever the next game is, this probably isn't our new SR2 or anything along that line. Going back to the original picture, I'm going to zoom in here because I think this is actually a little bit better picture. So people are speculating that is that Rex on the left, and so on and so forth. So it's a little bit higher quality picture. It kind of looks like it. I have to be totally honest. It's obviously, it's definitely a Krogan. That Krogan has red armor on, which is very iconic to Rex, as most of us know. And then there's some speculation about what else is going on here. Some people are seeing this character here who looks like they have an elongated head, which people are speculating is a Turian. This is looking like a human. I'm even noticing now. Let's zoom in a little bit. Maybe we'll do some live. Let's get real weird. And that sure looks like the red stripe on top of a N7 helmet. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. And then a lot of people are speculating that this is Liara. So, I don't know. Could this be Rex and Garrus and Shep? And, whoever this would be? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But, yeah, this was... Sarah here had this posted, and I thought that was very interesting. This is the biggest one, I think, by Jess here. So they point out that, and I didn't even notice this when I first looked at the art, but this is very obviously a big Geth head. So even if you look at it here zoomed out, this is pretty. That's the Geth eye, that's the head, that's the kind of triangular neck, and it even has these lines here, which I thought was really interesting, which if you look back at this art, it's the whenever, like in cinematics, the Geth and specifically Legion always had these kind of these effect lines, coming off of them. And so that's pretty heavily suggestive and confirming, in my opinion, of this is supposed to be a Geth. So that's pretty cool. And again, we are talking about this here. I mentioned this already, that there seems to be pretty obviously a Geth laying here near this crater, and so there we'll have to we'll talk a bit about that and what that may mean. Andrea Renee, who's fairly well known for some of her opinions and stuff on here, she speculated that this may be a buried mass relay. It's probably not the case. I get where she's coming from, the circle, and then it looks like maybe they're uncovering something. I'm pretty willing to bet that this isn't that. This looks like it's this probably isn't a place in the game. I think this is pretty obviously supposed to be some concept art and some hype art to get people going. That's probably very specifically designed just to look like a Geth and supposed to be really exciting for us. One more bit that was really interesting is someone pointed out this old article that talked about how Mass Effect was originally called Science Fiction X as its code name, SFX, which, if you look here, that's the name of this ship. So whatever that means to you, it's probably just a nice nod. I've seen a few people speculate that, oh, this looks like an initiative ship or something like that. I mean, to me, this looks like a Alliance or especially like an N7 marked vehicle. So, we'll have to see. None of this stuff may be even in the game at all. So what does all of this mean? It basically means nothing, right? So they're still working on the game. They're probably still trying to figure out the story beats and deciding where this game's going to go, when it's going to take place, all of those things. I would say the basics are already decided, but if we want to dive into what I think this is sending a pretty clear message that this next game is going to involve something to do with the Geth, obviously. With the teaser trailer last year showing dead Reapers everywhere, I thought that was a pretty good clue that they're going to try to canonize the Destroy ending, which, if you've looked at polling and stuff like that, is the most popular ending, even from the Legendary Edition. That, we're seeing a dead Geth here, and the implication that all synthetics were killed, but that some people I've seen speculating that this may means that there were Geth that were outside of the galaxy. Maybe that's going to be how they're going to try to connect this to Andromeda somehow. I mean, these characters, like in the teaser trailer, you have Liara, who's from the trilogy, but could be very old when this game takes place, if they set it way far in the future. You have Rex here, who was already really old in the trilogy. This definitely seems like Rex, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't know anything more than anyone else. We're all just guessing right now, but that looks like Rex. And Rex was really old in the trilogy. And so, while Liara was extremely young, only about 100 years old, only about 10% into her lifespan, Rex, I believe, was a lot older than that. So if this game is supposed to take place 400, 500, 600 years later, it makes it hard for me to believe that Rex would still be in this and still be fighting. But who knows? I don't know exactly how long Krogans live. Maybe they live 3,000 years, and he's only he's a spry 2,200 years old in this game. I don't know. I really, even just in this video, when I zoomed in on there, I really can't help but notice that the person in the back right really looks like they're wearing what looks similar to Shep's classic N7 helmet. I know there's a big debate in the community, and there's a lot of back and forth about whether the next game should, completely get rid of Shep, assuming, depending on what ending they decide to use. If they decide to do one, I think they will canonize one specific ending. I just think it's impossible to try to take into account all of the endings and all of the potential things. I think they'll canonize Destroy ending, where Shep lives, and then hopefully they can go from that and cater this next game to work with a lot of different possibilities there. Any of the romances you picked, M Shep or F Shep, choices you made, like about the Rachni, things like that. The Genophage especially. I have a feeling that's going to be canon, because I still have a feeling that the Krogan, the ungenophage Krogan, are going to be a big part of this next game. I think that this is slowly trying to confirm, this is the old crew. This is going to take place right after the events of Mass Effect 3. It's going to involve Destroy. I understand why people want to move on, because there's people who have been playing these games and enjoying them for 15 years almost. And I just think that there's so much potential to explore the world after Mass Effect 3 and to explore the galaxy in the universe, because the events of the Reapers being destroyed, if that's where they go, and all of the destruction they did, even though they were defeated, is going to be a big story. There's going to be all of the different races and factions vying for power in this power vacuum. The humans will be probably making a huge push to become relevant and to take even more power and be even more involved in the council and things like that, assuming the council still exists, because you have to think about that. Assuming the story goes on, the Citadel is right by Earth now. It's not off in some distant system somewhere else. I don't know that the occupants of the Citadel were ever able to move it on their own. I don't know. But the fact that it's been moved, it's probably permanently going around Earth, and that will obviously pretty significantly change the involvement of humans in this universe and how they work. I think this was great. Obviously, we would have all loved a trailer or something like that. I think we have to, again, remember where they are in development, that they aren't actually making the game quite yet, and that this kind of stuff is what we're looking for, and I think it's great. Everyone's going to have a different take on this. I am definitely excited to hear yours down in the comments below. I would love to get different opinions, or if you've noticed things that I didn't notice, feel free, please give me a heads up. And I kind of think that's where we're at with this one. So maybe we'll get some more info during the week. Who knows? I kind of doubt it. I still think there's a slight chance that we may get another teaser trailer during the Game Awards. I think it's early next month, but we'll have to wait and see and not be too, and just kind of take what we can get for now. So yeah, so there's that. So to wrap this thing up, thank you for sticking around to watch this whole video, and please feel free to let me know what you think, or if you have any thoughts or questions down in the comments below. I do appreciate a comment in general. It helps the algorithm. If you want to support my channel, please check out my Patreon at patreon.com/BonDiesel. You can also check out my gaming podcast, The Echo Cast. It's on all the major podcast platforms, including iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, and I post it right here on YouTube as well. I am doing a Logitech PC bundle giveaway, as well as raising money for Extra Life 2021 through the rest of this year. The details about both of those are on my Twitter. You can find me at BonDiesel on Twitter, where you can catch my thoughts on various gaming topics and news, as well as when I go live on Twitch and when I post videos like this one. And that's all I have. So until next time.